Downtown San Francisco hummed with the usual bustle of tech workers, street performers, and entrepreneurs shuffling between meetings. Nestled among the sleek office buildings was the Progressive Brew, a cafe celebrated as much for its ethically sourced coffee as for its commitment to sustainability and inclusivity. Its walls bore slogans like, "Everyone welcome," and "Progress starts here." While its AI-driven coffee machines drew tech enthusiasts eager to witness innovation in action. That morning, Samantha Carter, the cafe's head barista, was already in her rhythm. Her movements were quick but precise as she filled orders, greeted customers, and ensured everything ran smoothly. Samantha prided herself on working for a place that wasn't just a business but a statement. The Progressive Brew wasn't perfect, but it tried to make a difference. At 9:45 a.m., the door jingled, and a man in a simple black t-shirt, jeans, and a baseball cap stepped inside. He was unassuming, blending in with the tech crowd. The logo on his hat, however, caught Samantha's attention. "Make America Great Again." Her fingers tightened momentarily on the coffee grinder. The cafe had an unspoken rule: political neutrality was encouraged, but anything deemed inflammatory was discouraged. Samantha exchanged a glance with Lisa Green, the cafe's owner, who was arranging pastries behind the counter. "Isn't that?" Lisa began, but Samantha cut her off with a shake of her head. "Let me handle this," she said. The man in the cap stood patiently in line, his eyes scanning the cafe's decor and systems. A slight smile tugged at his lips as he noticed the eye-powered machines behind the counter. When it was his turn, Samantha approached cautiously. "Good morning," she said, her tone neutral. "What can I get for you?" "Just a cappuccino, please," the man replied in a soft accent, sliding his credit card across the counter. Something about his voice struck Samantha as familiar, but she pushed the thought aside. As she prepared his drink, Samantha's gaze lingered on the hat. It wasn't just a piece of clothing. It symbolized a division that had fueled countless arguments both online and in person. She hesitated, then placed the cappuccino on the counter. "I'm sorry, but we reserve the right to refuse service," Samantha said, crossing her arms. "That hat goes against what this cafe stands for." The man blinked, his calm demeanor unshaken. "What exactly does it go against?" he asked, genuine curiosity lacing his tone. "Our values," Samantha replied. "Inclusivity, progress, respect for all people." The man tilted his head slightly, considering her words. "I see," he said after a moment. "Thank you for explaining." He didn't argue or demand his drink. Instead, he turned and walked toward the door. As he left, the sunlight caught the metallic threading of the logo on his hat. For a moment, Samantha thought she recognized him, but before she could place it, he was gone. The cafe buzzed with murmurs after the man's departure. A few customers pulled out their phones, snapping pictures and speculating about what had happened. Lisa frowned as she approached Samantha. "Was that really necessary?" Lisa asked, keeping her voice low. "He was wearing a MAGA hat." "Lisa," Samantha replied defensively, "that kind of thing doesn't belong here." Lisa sighed, glancing at the "Everyone welcome" sign on the wall. "I get it, but are we being inclusive if we're turning people away based on assumptions?" Before Samantha could respond, one of the regulars, Alex Novak, approached the counter. Alex was a tech journalist known for covering innovation in Silicon Valley. "Do you know who that was?" Alex asked, an amused smile on his face. Samantha raised an eyebrow. "Should I?" "That was Elon Musk," Alex said, chuckling. "You just refused service to one of the most innovative minds in the world." Samantha's stomach sank. "No way," she said, shaking her head. "Why would Elon Musk wear that hat?" "Good question," Alex replied, "but it was him. I'm sure of it." Lisa groaned, rubbing her temples. "This is going to blow up, isn't it?" Later that day, Elon Musk sat in his Tesla, parked by the waterfront. The encounter at the cafe replayed in his mind. He wasn't angry. He rarely let emotions cloud his judgment, but he was intrigued. The cafe's commitment to progress had impressed him, as had its innovative systems. But the irony of being judged for his hat wasn't lost on him. It reminded him of the early days of Tesla, when people had dismissed electric cars as impractical without understanding their potential. He took out a notebook and began sketching ideas. Elon saw moments like these not as obstacles but as opportunities. There was a lesson to be learned here. both for the cafe and for himself. This isn't about the hat, he murmured. It's about perception, innovation, and what progress really means. By the following morning, the progressive brew was the talk of the town, but not for reasons anyone had anticipated. Social media was buzzing with accounts of the incident. A few posts had even gone viral. Cafe refuses service to Elon Musk over a hat was trending across platforms, complete with grainy photos of Elon leaving the cafe. Inside the cafe, the atmosphere was tense. Lisa paced the floor, her phone vibrating constantly with notifications, emails, and calls from curious journalists. "Lisa, you're on BuzzFeed," called one of the younger baristas. Holding up her phone, Lisa groaned. Samantha, meanwhile, was defiant. "We did the right thing," she insisted to anyone who asked. "It's about standing by our values." Lisa wasn't so sure. As much as she believed in the cafe's mission, she couldn't ignore the growing unease among her staff and customers. Some supported Samantha's stance, but others pointed to the cafe's core principle: inclusivity. What if we alienate more people? Lisa wondered aloud to Jamie, her teenage child. Jamie, who was tinkering with a robotics kit at the counter, looked up thoughtfully. "Mom, you've always said progress means learning from mistakes," Jamie said. Maybe this is one of those moments. Back at Tesla's headquarters, Elon Musk sat in a conference room with his senior team. A presentation on quarterly performance flickered on the screen. But Elon's mind was elsewhere. He was sketching in his notebook, jotting down ideas about renewable energy systems and small-scale innovation hubs. Finally, one of his executives, Sarah Coe, interrupted his thoughts. "Elon," she said with a knowing smile, "is this about the cafe thing?" Elon looked up, his pencil pausing mid-sketch. "You heard about that?" "Everyone's heard about it," Sarah replied. "The whole city is talking about it." "Are you okay?" Elon chuckled. "I'm fine. Actually, I'm thinking about how to turn it into something meaningful." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "Meaningful?" "They're a good cafe," Elon explained, leaning back in his chair. "Sustainability, AI-powered systems, it's the kind of business I want to support. But their definition of progressive is too narrow. If progress isn't inclusive, is it really progress?" Sarah tilted her head. "So what's your plan?" Elon's lips curved into a small smile. "I'll show them what progress really looks like." Meanwhile, Lisa held an emergency staff meeting at the cafe. The incident was beginning to impact their reputation, and customers were divided. Some applauded their decision to stand up to what they perceived as a controversial figure, while others criticized the cafe for hypocrisy. "It's not just about the hat," Samantha argued. "It's about what it represents. We have a responsibility to our community." "But didn't we promise to welcome everyone?" one of the other baristas countered. "Isn't that the point of being inclusive?" Lisa sighed, rubbing her temples. "We need to figure out how to move forward. This isn't just about one moment. It's about who we are as a business." Jamie, sitting at the back of the room, spoke up. "What if you reached out to him? You could apologize and explain where we're coming from." Samantha shook her head. "No way. That would look like we're backtracking." "Maybe backtracking isn't the worst thing if it helps us grow," Jamie replied quietly. Lisa stared at her child, the words resonating in a way she wasn't ready to admit. 2 days later, the Progressive Brew staff was preparing for their usual morning rush when a sleek Tesla Model X pulled up outside. The cafe went silent as the driver's door opened and Elon Musk stepped out, wearing the same black MAGA hat and a casual black hoodie. Lisa froze mid-pour as Elon entered the cafe, followed by a small entourage of engineers carrying tablets and equipment. Samantha's face turned pale, her earlier confidence wavering. Elon walked to the counter, his expression calm but curious. "Good morning," he said, his voice carrying just enough warmth to diffuse the tension in the room. Lisa stepped forward, her heart pounding. "Mr. Musk," she began, "I want to apologize for what happened the other day. We didn't realize." Elon raised a hand, silencing her. "No need for apologies," he said. "I'm not here to hold grudges. I'm here to make an offer." The entire cafe seemed to lean in, holding their breath. Elon explained his vision. He had been impressed by the cafe's commitment to sustainability and wanted to collaborate on a project that would not only transform the Progressive Brew but set an example for other small businesses. "I want to install a Tesla sustainable energy system here," Elon said. "Solar panels, Battery storage, AI-driven energy management, the works. Your cafe will become carbon neutral and a model for the future. The staff was stunned. Lisa's eyes filled with tears, while Samantha stared at Elon in disbelief. Why would you do this after what happened? Samantha asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Because progress isn't about holding on to misunderstandings. Elon replied. It's about learning from them and moving forward. This cafe has the potential to be more than a business. It can be a symbol of what's possible when innovation meets inclusivity. Over the next few hours, Elon and his team began surveying the cafe, taking measurements and assessing its energy systems. Customers gathered outside, snapping photos and whispering excitedly. Lisa couldn't believe what was happening. She watched as Elon spoke with Jamie, who had pulled out their robotics project to show him. Elon listened intently, offering suggestions and encouragement. This is incredible work, Elon told Jamie. If you ever want an internship at Tesla, let me know. Jamie beamed, their earlier shyness melting away. By the end of the day, the cafe was abuzz with new energy, both literal and metaphorical. Elon's team had outlined a plan to install the energy systems within a month. And he had also suggested turning the cafe into a learning hub for sustainable technology. Work on the Progressive Brews transformation began almost immediately. Tesla's engineers arrived the next morning, unloading equipment and solar panels while curious onlookers gathered outside. Inside the cafe, Lisa and her staff tried to balance their usual duties with the overwhelming excitement and nerves of collaborating with one of the world's most innovative companies. Elon visited regularly, offering guidance and checking on the progress. On one visit, he brought a team from SpaceX to discuss additional possibilities for integrating cutting-edge energy solutions into the cafe's operations. What if we use this place as a test bed for community-based energy sharing? Elon suggested during one meeting. We could connect neighboring businesses to this system, reducing their carbon footprints too. Lisa stared at him, wide-eyed. You want to turn my cafe into a community energy hub? Elon smiled. Why not? Progress is better when it's shared. The staff couldn't help but feel inspired. Even Samantha, who had been skeptical at first, found herself swept up in the momentum. She started asking questions about the technology, learning about the intricate systems Tesla was installing. One afternoon, Samantha approached Elon as he examined the cafe's new battery storage unit. I still don't agree with the hat, she said hesitantly, but I get what you're trying to do here. It's bigger than I thought. Elon nodded. It always is. Sometimes we have to look past symbols to see the people and ideas behind them. As the transformation continued, Jamie found themselves drawn to the Tesla engineers. They spent hours observing the installations, asking questions about how the solar panels worked and how the AI-managed energy systems made decisions. One of the engineers, Monica Lee, noticed Jamie's enthusiasm. You've got a knack for this, Monica said one day, showing Jamie how to monitor the system using a tablet. Have you ever thought about a career in engineering? Jamie hesitated. I've always loved building things. But I don't know if I'm good enough. Elon overheard and joined the conversation. The only way to find out is to try, he said, placing a hand on Jamie's shoulder. Failure is just another step toward success. Encouraged, Jamie began working on their own project, a prototype for a small, portable solar charger. When they showed it to Elon, he grinned. This is great. Let's refine it together. Jamie's confidence grew, and soon they were helping the Tesla team with the cafe's final installations. A month later, the transformation was complete. The cafe's roof was covered in sleek solar panels, and the new energy storage system hummed quietly in the back. Inside, digital displays showed real-time data on the cafe's energy usage and carbon footprint, allowing customers to see the impact of their visit. The cafe reopened with a special event hosted by Elon Musk himself. The turnout was massive, with customers, journalists, and local officials eager to see the results of the collaboration. Lisa stood near the counter, overwhelmed by the positive response. Elon joined her, holding a cup of freshly brewed coffee. This is incredible, Lisa said, her voice thick with emotion. I never imagined it would turn out like this. Elon smiled. You had the vision for a progressive cafe. I just helped amplify it. The event wasn't just a celebration, it was also an educational opportunity. Tesla engineers gave presentations on the technology behind the systems, while Jamie demonstrated their solar charger prototype to an intrigued audience. Over the following weeks, the Progressive Brew became more than just a cafe. It became a hub for innovation and education. Local schools organized field trips to learn about the sustainable energy systems. And college students used the cafe as a case study for research projects. Lisa started hosting monthly forums where community members could discuss topics like technology, sustainability, and inclusivity. These events drew a diverse crowd, fostering conversations that bridged divides. Even Samantha found a new sense of purpose. She began leading workshops on the intersection of sustainability and social justice. Inspired by what she had learned during the transformation, the cafe's success also inspired other small businesses in the area to adopt similar sustainable practices. Elon's vision of a community energy hub became a reality as neighboring shops and restaurants connected to the cafe's system, reducing their reliance on traditional power grids. One quiet afternoon, Lisa unveiled a small plaque near the cafe's entrance. It read, "Here, preconceptions ended, and progress began. May we always strive to learn, grow, and create a better future together." Jamie stood beside her, beaming with pride. "It's perfect," they said. Elon arrived later that day, wearing his usual black t-shirt and jeans. He read the plaque and nodded approvingly. "It's a good reminder," he said. "Progress isn't about being perfect, it's about being willing to adapt." As months turned into a year, the Progressive Brew had become a beacon not only for coffee lovers but for dreamers and changemakers alike. Articles about the cafe's transformation appeared in major publications, highlighting its innovative energy systems and the way it had turned a moment of misunderstanding into a catalyst for change. Lisa often marveled at how her once small cafe had grown into something far beyond what she had envisioned. The solar-powered cafe had reduced its energy costs by 70%, and with Elon's help, the cafe was now generating enough energy to power 3 neighboring businesses. "This place isn't just about coffee anymore," Lisa said during a community meeting one evening. "It's about showing what's possible when we work together." The cafe's monthly forums had become a fixture in the community. Topics ranged from renewable energy and AI ethics to broader discussions on inclusivity and social justice. Lisa had even invited speakers from different political perspectives, sparking debates that were heated but respectful. "Progress means listening to everyone," Lisa told her staff one day. "Even the voices we don't agree with." Jamie's small solar charger prototype had caught the attention of Tesla engineers and other innovators who frequented the cafe. Encouraged by their feedback, Jamie refined the design, adding features like a lightweight battery and a modular panel system. Elon kept a close eye on Jamie's progress. One day, he invited them to Tesla's headquarters to present their prototype to his team. Nervous but excited, Jamie prepared a short presentation. Standing in a sleek conference room, Jamie spoke passionately about their design. "This isn't just a charger," they said, holding up the polished prototype. "It's a way to give people access to renewable energy anywhere, whether they're hiking, camping, or in places where the grid isn't reliable." The room erupted into applause. Elon approached Jamie, placing a hand on their shoulder. "This is brilliant," he said. "We're going to help you make it even better." Jamie's charger became a side project at Tesla, with engineers offering mentorship and resources. Within months, the prototype evolved into a market-ready product. When it launched, Jamie donated a portion of the proceeds to a nonprofit dedicated to bringing renewable energy to underserved communities. Samantha, too, found herself transformed by the events of the past year. She had started reading more about sustainable business practices and even enrolled in online courses about environmental science and social impact. One evening, Samantha hosted a workshop at the cafe titled, "Justice Through Sustainability." The turnout surprised her. Dozens of people packed the space, eager to learn how they could contribute to a more equitable and sustainable world. "I used to think sustainability was just about technology," Samantha said during her presentation. "But it's also about how we treat each other. It's about creating systems that work for everyone, not just a privileged few." Her words resonated with the audience, sparking a lively discussion. After the workshop, several attendees approached Samantha to thank her and ask for advice. "You've inspired us," one woman said. Maybe we can do something similar in our business. Samantha smiled. If I can learn, so can you. One quiet afternoon, Elon returned to the Progressive Brew. This time without his entourage. He ordered a cappuccino from Samantha, who now greeted him with a genuine smile. I didn't recognize you the first time you came here, Samantha admitted as she handed him his drink. I just saw the hat. Elon chuckled. That was the point. It's easy to judge what we don't understand. Samantha nodded. I've learned a lot since then. About progress. About people. Elon raised his cup in a toast. To progress. As Elon sat at one of the cafe's tables, Jamie approached him with a small box. I wanted to thank you, Jamie said, handing him the box. Inside was one of their solar chargers, engraved with the words, "Thank you for seeing the light in everyone." Elon smiled, genuinely touched. This is incredible. Thank you. The story of the Progressive Brew eventually reached national and international audiences. Lisa was invited to speak at conferences about the cafe's journey, sharing lessons on sustainability, inclusivity, and the power of turning mistakes into opportunities. Elon often cited the cafe as an example in his own talks about innovation. Progress doesn't come from perfection, he would say. It comes from learning, adapting, and working together. The cafe became a model for small businesses worldwide. Entrepreneurs visited from as far as Japan and Germany to see its systems in action. Some even implemented similar energy-sharing hubs in their own communities. One day, a journalist from the New York Times visited the cafe to write a feature story. She noticed the plaque near the entrance and asked Lisa about its significance. It's a reminder of where we started, Lisa said, and of how far we've come. That moment with Elon wasn't our proudest, but it was the start of something bigger. It taught us that true progress means staying open to growth, even when it's uncomfortable. The journalist smiled. Do you think Elon ever comes back here incognito? Lisa laughed. Probably, but if he does, I hope he feels welcome, hat and all. Years later, the Progressive Brew remained a thriving hub of innovation and community. Jamie, now a successful engineer, often returned to the cafe to mentor young inventors. Samantha had become a leader in sustainable business practices, consulting for other cafes and small businesses. Lisa, now semi-retired, loved watching the cafe flourish. She often sat by the window, sipping coffee and marveling at the connections the cafe had fostered. One evening, as the sun set over San Francisco, a familiar figure walked through the door. Elon Musk, now older but still unmistakably curious, ordered a cappuccino and sat quietly in the corner, observing the vibrant energy of the space he had helped transform. Lisa approached him, smiling. Welcome back. Elon looked up, his eyes twinkling. It's good to be here. The Progressive Brew became more than just a cafe. It became a symbol of what's possible when we challenge assumptions and embrace growth. It reminded everyone who visited that progress isn't about perfection, it's about being willing to change, to listen, and to build something better together.